If your car is jerking, burning too much fuel, or throwing a check engine light, your mass airflow sensor might be failing. This small sensor controls how your engine breathes, and when it goes bad, the symptoms show up fast. Today, I'll walk you through 11 warning signs of a bad MAF sensor, how to test it yourself, and what it costs to fix. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's wrong, and whether you need a mechanic or can handle it at home. First, let's cover what this sensor actually does. The MAF sensor, short for mass airflow sensor, sits between your air filter and engine. It measures how much air enters the engine and sends that data to your car's computer, the ECU. Your ECU uses this information to calculate how much fuel to inject. Think of it like a chef measuring ingredients. Too much air and not enough fuel, your engine runs lean. Too much fuel and not enough air, it runs rich. Either way, your engine struggles. When the MAF sensor fails, it sends wrong information to the ECU, and that's when problems start. The first symptom of a bad MAF sensor is the check engine light. This is the most common sign, but here's the catch: not every bad MAF sensor triggers the light. The ECU monitors all your sensors, and if the MAF sends data that doesn't make sense, the light comes on. If your check engine light is on, plug in an OBD2 scanner and look for these codes: P0100, P0101, P0102, P0103, or P0104. These codes all point to MAF sensor problems. You might also see lean or rich mixture codes like P0171 or P0174. Even if the light isn't on, keep watching, because the other symptoms matter just as much. The second sign is rough or jerky acceleration. When you press the gas pedal, your car should respond smoothly. If the MAF sensor is giving bad readings, the ECU injects the wrong amount of fuel. You'll feel hesitation, jerking, or stuttering as you accelerate. This usually happens because the air-fuel mixture is off. If the mixture is too lean, the engine starves for fuel and jerks forward in bursts. If it's too rich, excess fuel can foul the spark plugs, causing rough acceleration. Either way, it feels like the car is fighting itself. The third symptom is sluggish acceleration or loss of power. Let's say you're merging onto the highway or passing another car. You step on the gas, but the car barely responds. This happens when the MAF sensor underreports airflow. The ECU thinks less air is entering the engine, so it cuts back on fuel. Your engine doesn't get the power it needs, and acceleration feels weak. This is one of the more dangerous symptoms because it can leave you vulnerable in traffic. The fourth sign of a failing MAF sensor is hard starting. If your car struggles to start in the morning, or after sitting for a few hours, the MAF sensor could be the problem. Engines are very sensitive to the air-fuel mixture during startup. If the MAF sensor tells the ECU there's too much or too little air, the engine gets the wrong fuel amount and has trouble firing up. You'll turn the key multiple times, or the engine will crank longer than usual before starting. The fifth symptom is a rough idle. When your car is stopped at a red light or parked with the engine running, the idle should feel smooth and steady. A bad MAF sensor disrupts this balance. The engine might shake, vibrate, or even stall at idle. This happens because the ECU is constantly trying to adjust the fuel mixture based on bad data from the MAF sensor. At low RPMs, even small errors in the air-fuel ratio become very noticeable. The sixth warning sign is engine misfires. A misfire happens when one or more cylinders fail to ignite the fuel properly. Your engine needs three things to burn fuel: the right air-fuel mixture, compression, and a spark. If the MAF sensor is faulty, the air-fuel mixture is wrong, and combustion fails in one or more cylinders. You'll feel the engine shaking or stuttering, and you might see misfire codes like P0300 through P0308 on your scanner. The seventh symptom is black smoke from the exhaust. If you see thick black smoke coming from your tailpipe, your engine is running too rich. This means too much fuel and not enough air. A failing MAF sensor often overreports airflow, so the ECU injects extra fuel to match. That excess fuel doesn't burn completely and exits as black smoke. This is bad for two reasons. First, you're wasting fuel and money. Second, unburned fuel can damage your catalytic converter, which can cost $2,000 or more to replace. The eighth sign of a bad MAF sensor is poor fuel economy. If you're filling up your gas tank more often than usual, check your MAF sensor. When the sensor sends incorrect data, the ECU injects too much fuel, and your fuel economy drops. You might notice you're getting 20% or 30% fewer miles per gallon. Besides costing you money at the pump, running rich can cause you to fail an emissions test because your car is releasing more carbon dioxide than normal. The ninth symptom is engine stalling. This is more common in older cars, but it can happen in newer vehicles too. If the MAF sensor fails completely, the ECU might inject way too little fuel. The engine can't sustain combustion at low RPMs and stalls out, especially at idle or when you come to a stop. Newer cars have backup sensors that help prevent stalling, but a bad MAF sensor can still cause problems that affect other parts like the oxygen sensor and catalytic converter. The 10th warning sign is engine knocking or pinging. If you hear unusual metallic knocking sounds coming from the engine, the air-fuel mixture is likely off. Knocking happens when fuel ignites unevenly inside the cylinders. This is often caused by a lean mixture from a faulty MAF sensor. Engine knocking isn't just annoying, it can cause serious damage. If left unchecked, it can wear down cylinder walls and pistons, leading to repairs that cost $4,000 or more. The 11th and final symptom is lean or rich air-fuel ratios. You can check this with a gas analyzer or sometimes just by smell. If your exhaust smells strongly like gasoline, your engine is running rich. If it smells like sulfur or rotten eggs, it's running lean. Both conditions trace back to bad MAF sensor data. A lean mixture can overheat your engine and damage components. A rich mixture wastes fuel and can ruin your catalytic converter. Now that you know the symptoms, let's talk about where to find your MAF sensor. It's located in the large air intake hose between your air filter box and the intake manifold. On most cars, it's bolted or clipped onto the air filter housing. It's a small rectangular or cylindrical component with an electrical connector. Check your repair manual or search online for your specific make and model to see exactly where it sits. Before you replace the sensor, you should test it to confirm it's actually bad. MAF sensors can be expensive, so you don't want to replace one that's still working. Here are 3 ways to test it. First, use an OBD2 scanner. Plug it into the port under your steering wheel, turn on the ignition, and check the live data. Look for MAF readings in grams per second. At idle, the reading should be around 2 to 7 grams per second, depending on your engine size. A good rule of thumb is about 1 gram per second for every liter of engine displacement. So, a 2.5-liter engine should read around 2.5 grams per second at idle. When you rev the engine, the reading should increase smoothly. If it stays flat or jumps erratically, the sensor is bad. Second, you can do a simple unplug test. Start your car and let it idle. Then, unplug the MAF sensor's electrical connector. If the engine keeps running or runs better without the sensor plugged in, the sensor is faulty. If the engine stalls immediately, the sensor is probably fine. Third, you can use a multimeter if you're comfortable with basic electrical work. Set the multimeter to DC voltage. Turn the ignition on, but don't start the engine. Locate the signal wire on the MAF connector. It's usually in the middle. Touch the red probe to the signal wire and the black probe to ground. Start the engine. At idle, you should see around 1 to 1.2 volts. When you rev the engine, the voltage should rise smoothly to around 4 or 4.5 volts. If the voltage doesn't change or jumps around randomly, the sensor has failed. If your MAF sensor is dirty but not dead, you can try cleaning it. Remove the sensor carefully. Inside, you'll see a very thin wire or film element. Never touch this with your hands or tools. Buy a cleaner specifically labeled for MAF sensors. Do not use carburetor cleaner, brake cleaner, or WD-40. Spray the sensor lightly from about 6 to 8 inches away. Let it air dry for at least 15 minutes. Do not blow it dry with compressed air or wipe it with a cloth. Once it's completely dry, reinstall it and see if the symptoms improve. Cleaning works sometimes, but if the sensor is damaged, you'll need to replace it. So, how much does a MAF sensor replacement cost? On average, you're looking at $250 to $470 for parts and labor. The sensor itself costs between $100 and $400 depending on your car. Labor usually runs $40 to $150. The good news is that replacing a MAF sensor is pretty straightforward on most vehicles. If you're comfortable working on your car and have basic tools, you can do it yourself in about 10 to 15 minutes. Just unplug the electrical connector, remove the bolts or clamps holding the sensor in place, pull it out, and install the new one in reverse order. If you've noticed any of these 11 symptoms, don't ignore them. A failing MAF sensor affects how your engine runs, wastes fuel, and can lead to expensive damage down the road. Test your sensor using the methods I described, and if it's bad, replace it or take your car to a trusted mechanic. What symptoms have you experienced? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if this video helped you understand your car better, hit the like button and subscribe for more straightforward car advice.